How's it going, guys? Today we're going to talk about perseverance. I think we can all agree that at times life can be hard, that life just throws obstacles in your way, that there are times where you are going to have to go over some obstacles, you're going to have to go through some stuff, you're really going to have to go around or crawl under some obstacles in your life just to be successful. However, we have to persevere through these things. We have to persevere through horrible things just to be successful, or so that we can be successful. So I want to give you guys an example of somebody who persevered, of somebody who had so many obstacles in their life, but was able to overcome and persevere through the things that life threw at him. This person was born in Kentucky on February 12th, 1809. He was born into a normal family. He had both of his parents, and he had a brother and a sister. Right off the bat, when he was still young, his brother and his sister actually passed away. They died while they were still young. So this left him with just his parents and himself. It was just a small family. His family, they actually were not very well off. They actually were something that was called a squatter. If you don't know, a squatter is somebody who lives off of public land, somebody who lives off of anything that they can find. They kill whatever they can just to eat, and they eat whatever they can find, and they stay wherever they can find shelter. So that's what his family was. Then, when he was around 9 years old, his mother passed away. His mother passed away, and this was extremely tragic for him because he was closest to his mother. He wasn't very close to his father, but he was extremely close to his mother. And now that she's gone, he had to interact with his father. But his father and him, they actually didn't see eye to eye. They didn't see the world in the same way. He wanted to be intellectual. He wanted to become somebody great and make a difference in this world. But his father just wanted to get food on the table and work hard enough to stay alive, just to keep going. So they didn't see eye to eye. However, this didn't stop him. This didn't stop him from his goal of being intellectual and wanting to make a difference. So he would actually walk miles. He would walk miles just to get one book, just so that he could go and grab a book and come back and read it. He would walk miles to do that. He lived with his father up until he was 22 years old. When he was 22 years old, finally he moved out and he was looking for jobs. He was able to build fences and just work manual labor, chopping wood and doing whatever it is that he could do just to get by at the moment. But his goals were still there. He still wanted to be intellectual. So finally, he was able to get a decent job as a store manager. All during him being a store manager, he was teaching himself to be a lawyer. He was reading books of law and teaching himself to be a lawyer on his own time. This was all at 22 years old. At 23 years old, while he was still teaching himself to be a lawyer, he actually lost his job and ran for legislature, but was defeated. It was the first time he was defeated in government. So he lost his job and was defeated for a governmental position. However, all the studying paid off because finally he became a lawyer. So those were one of the bright things in that year. He actually became a lawyer. Around the time he was 26 years old, or before then, he was actually elected captain for one of the wars, for the war. So he was elected captain for the war, and he went off with his troops, and actually his troops and him, they didn't see any battle. So when he came back from war, he was actually a private. And if you don't know rankings in the military, a private is one of the lowest things that you can be. It is actually the lowest position you can be. It's level 1. So he went to war as a captain, but came back as a private. So now he's a lawyer, and it's around the time when he's 26 years old, and he's got that special someone in his life, his fiance. and they're about to get married, and he's 26 years old. He's ready to do this thing. However, his fiance passes away when he's 26 years old, and this was a time in his life where he fell into depression for a whole entire year. He grieved over the death of his fiance for a whole entire year. That was horrible for him. However, at 29 years old, he decided to get back out there and run for Speaker of the House. At 29 years old, he's running for Speaker of the House, but he did not get elected. He was defeated for Speaker of the House. Then at 34 years old, he decided to go again, one more time. Let's go out for Congress. He decided to go out for Congress. However, again, he could not catch a break. He was defeated for Congress. So he took some time off. 6 years later, when he was 40 years old, he just kept coming along. At 40 years old, he decided to run for land officer. But guess what? One more time, he was rejected. He was defeated as land officer and was unable to become that. So there's another obstacle. Fast forward 5 years later, he's still chugging through. He's still trying to make it in this world. He's still trying to be successful in any way that he possibly can. So he decides to run for Senate. He decides to run for Senate, but guess what? Yep, he was defeated for Senate. So he did so many things last year. He did not stop going, and he's not done yet. So he's 45 years old at the time. Fast forward 6 years later, when he's 51 years old, finally, Abraham Lincoln was elected the 16th president of the United States. Finally, success. He persevered through every struggle in his life. He persevered through everything that life could throw at him, whether it was death, whether it was defeat, whether it was depression. He was able to make it through and be the 16th president of the United States. I love the quote by Winston Churchill that says, "Continuous effort, not strength or intelligence, is the key to unlocking your potential." So guys, it's not how smart you are, it's not how strong you think you are, it's not how intelligent people see you as, but it's how willing are you to persevere, how willing are you to keep going. I want to give you guys an example, some more examples of people who were able to persevere no matter what circumstance was going on in their life, or no matter what other people around them were telling them that they were. The first is Walt Disney. Walt Disney, you may not know this, but Walt Disney was fired from one of his first jobs because he actually wasn't creative enough. So Walt Disney was fired because he wasn't creative enough, but he didn't quit, and he went on to be one of the most creative people that has ever lived, creating one of the biggest franchises in the world. Another person that you may know is Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school team by his coach, but we all know that he persevered and went on to be one of the best basketball players ever known. Finally, we have Oprah. We all know Oprah, we all know who she is, but we may not all know that she actually had a bad childhood. She was abused as a child, and she had rough going as a child. However, she was able to persevere and push those things aside, the things that kept her down, the things that other people were saying, and just persevere, put her head down, and keep her eyes on the prize. Guys, in 2013, 529 students, 529,000 students of the graduating class, dropped out of high school. 529,000 students. That's a big number. However, 3 million students actually graduated from high school. Of those 3 million students that graduated high school, only 2 million of those students went on to pursue a college education. So we have 529,000 plus 2 million gives us 2,529,000 people who did not keep going, who did not persevere. These people that dropped out of high school, they were unable to persevere. They were unable to keep going. The people that didn't pursue a college education, maybe it was because they didn't have enough money to go, or maybe it was because they didn't believe that they were smart enough, or for whatever the reason, they did not persevere. They didn't push away the things that people were telling them. They didn't push away their circumstances, and they didn't persevere through everything in the world. So guys, today I want to encourage you, don't be another statistic. Don't be just another number. Don't be another dropout. I want to encourage you to persevere and keep on going so that you're not just another statistic. I encourage you this because you have to persevere in order to be great. If you want to make a difference in this world, if you want to succeed and be great, then you will have to persevere. And just keep going. Just keep going, guys. I'm also here to tell you guys that you can do it. All you have to do is keep going, just like Abraham Lincoln did, just like Michael Jordan did, and all these other examples. Guys, you can do it. If you just keep going, you can do anything that you don't quit on. Because failure doesn't come whenever someone tells you you failed. Failure comes whenever you quit. So, you can do it, guys.